What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another DevPro duel video in Ranked, and this time I'm going to be playing with a different Demise deck, a deck I've already played in the past, but it's arguably, honestly, my favorite Demise deck, period, in general. And that is the Satellarknight Demise deck. I really like this deck. I love this deck from like the core of my being, simply because it's like the Demise deck that functions the exact same way before Demise was implemented into it as it does after Demise was implemented. Like, the deck's function has not changed. All it did was gain a very powerful card in the form of Card of Demise. Like, this is very much what Satellars have done in the past, but they just didn't have a really powerful draw card to utilize. Now, they've always had very powerful plays in the form of, Travare, bouncing resources that your opponent has, sniping them out of the hand, as well as resetting things like your Call of the Haunteds and your Oasis of Dragon Souls to, like, just continually fuel your engines. The Travare loop is still very powerful. It's very real, but it's honestly, just like I said, like one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Demise decks, simply because you only have to really resolve Card of Demise one time on like turn one, and then at that point you usually have so many resources available to you off of the cards you've drawn, and everything's usually set up the way you need it to be, that you basically just are ready to just Travare loop your way through the rest of the game. Like, Travare is definitely one of those cards that's easily like one of the most powerful Xyz monsters in the game's history. Like, what it does is amazing, and if you can utilize that after a Card of Demise to gain traps, extra resources and stuff like that, and then you utilize that to just allow yourself to keep keeping your resource pool up by bouncing calls and stuff like that, and you just keep resolving it turn after turn, like, it's honestly just really good, and it's really, like, honestly highly impactful. Like, this is in my opinion the Demise deck that does the most without Card of Demise, is what I'm trying to say, essentially. Like, this and Cosmo Demise are honestly like the two that probably do the most without Card of Demise needing to resolve. But if Card of Demise resolves in this deck, it's very good, because like I said, the core deck's functionality did not change after Card of Demise was implemented into it. It just got a very powerful draw card. But anyway, that's enough rambling about me liking this deck. Let's just jump into this game and see what we can get out of it. Alright, so let's see what we get to mess around with here. I get to go first. That's huge. That's great. Hopefully I get to resolve something like Demise. This hand is definitely set up to do something along those lines. So I'm just gonna, well, I should probably just upstart first. Upstart, and then I can duality, see what I grab. That's terrible. Another rivalry. Multiples. I don't even know why I'm setting everything first. I should just definitely do this. Card of Demise. We will be taking that, and we will be using it. So, we've got Call of the Haunted, so if we end up hitting something like the Neb or Altair and can't actually do anything with it, or if we have just too many cards, oh, this is actually pretty good. Actually really good indeed, because this gets to send the Neb, which Deneb can get Call of the Haunted, and that will get Altair, and then this will be tributed off by Alpha. A few different options are available. I've already got an MST down, so I'll just set this Alpha because it's the better card. It clears more cards, it does more things, and so we'll end turn, and this MST will get discarded. I mean, kind of rough, but hey, you do what you have to do. I've got double rivalry, I've got Call, I've got Tellanova Alpha. Stella, did I just say Stellar Nova? Like, how more southern can I get? Absolutely. Twin Twistar. Okay, well, this is going to get a lot of value. And I've got Rivalry, which is just amazing against any form of Mermail. Did he target these two? I'm okay with that. That's MST and a Rivalry, and I have two Rivalries. I'm 100% okay with that. Because Rivalry is great against this deck as well, because a lot of stuff is different. So, like, he can't, like... Well, actually, no. Rivalry was good against old Mermail. I don't know if it's good against new Mermail. We will find out. But I'm going to Nova this Diva and see where that gets me. Another Anukulhai is where it gets me, too, so that's really cool. So what this actually means is that I can Call the Haunted. Okay, so he's going to do that. And this is where Rivalry can come into play. Because I'll just be able to Rivalry him after he uses his Norden effect. And you know, this is a fairy, and if he brings back Diva or Turge, that's either Sea Serpent or Aqua. So I'm letting him summon it because based off what he picks, off the rivalry, I get rid of 2 of them. Because if he is dumb and chooses to get rid of the Norden, the Abyss Turge gets banished anyway. So, like, we'll see what happens. We're gonna see what goes on. But as far as my next turn goes, see, he declared fish. So the Norden dies, then it banished the Turge. What an amazing play. But, so in phase, I get to use Call of the Haunted here onto Deneb. Deneb can get Vega. And then I can go Vega, Anukel High, send Altair, and then I can Trivar these back to my hand. So there's that. So that'd be really good, and that starts me moving into the sequence of plays that I really want. And that's a Nova Alpha. That's really good. This game is basically 100% in my control and 100% won at this point. Because even if I did something like run into a Gores here, I'm gonna be doing all my ramming before I attack, like detach off Travere or even make Travere, so it would go back to his hand anyway. So even if he's playing Gores, that's not an issue. That's not a threat. So we'll just attack with these because it's more damage, and then we'll make Travere in main phase 2 in defense mode, take a card out of his hand, and then set Alpha, and then reset Call of the Haunted and Rivalry, because those will both get bounced to my hand as well. And then Call of the Haunted is really powerful then, because that's Call of the Haunted on Altair, which can get back to Neb, which can get another Altair. So this deck is very much one of my favorite Card of Demise decks, because once you resolve one Card of Demise, you can basically just fall back on the deck's core function, because you are just looping Travere every turn. And Travere is, like, and the Satellarknight engine itself is very, very powerful at doing the things that it does. So that's a Gund. His Turge is banished, or else that would have brought it back, which is a little bit of a neat interaction here, but I would have had to negate his Twin Twister if he had, like, targeted anything that was, like, real. Like, if he had targeted the Alpha, I would have had to have wasted the Alpha on it, and then the game would arguably be in a much different situation for me, because I would not have an Alpha for the Diva, meaning that he would get a Neptibus and he'd be able to do a lot of things unopposed. I don't think Rivalry is actually that good against this version of Mermails. It used to be really good against the old version of Mermails, because they would be putting out Aquas, Sea Serpents, and Fish all at the same time. But as it stands now, the deck can really function really heavily on only putting out Sea Serpents, because of Diva, Neptibus, Megalo, all of these cards are just Sea Serpent. Even Moulinglace is Sea Serpent. So, interesting. It's an interesting idea there. But, so, we'll use this to get another Altair. And so at this point, like I said, like, once you resolve one card of Demise, you can usually just let the engine of the deck flow upon itself, and it'll work perfectly fine. But I'm going to use this to take the card out of his hand, the last one out of his hand, and that is Abyssgale the Satis. Alright, and so I've got 2 Anukel Highs in grave, which means I could go like Altair into Anukel High, and then do that. This could be Lind. I can make Dweller here. In fact, I believe I want to just make Dweller. Is Dweller even in this extra deck? It is. It's so weird going for a card that doesn't have Satellarknight in its name, because, like, usually that's all you do. But, so I'm going to activate this Dweller, detaching this Deneb, and so what I'm able to do here is now attack over this, and then attack directly with Travar, and then summon Altair, get Deneb, get a Search. That's a Dragoons? Okay. So I didn't even need to make this Dweller, but the Dweller is just really strong anyway, because now it just makes it to where, like, can't foreseeably lose this game to anything, because I'll just be able to summon this and get back Deneb, get back the last Altair out of my deck, or get the last Altair, not even get it back, just get it. And yeah, alright, I like where this is going. So now I'm able to actually, if I wanted to, I can make Rhapsody, I can make Cowboy, or I could just make, like, Utopia. Utopia! I don't think any of these actually matter, though. So I'm just gonna make, like, nothing. I'm just gonna keep this here so that it's something for the Alpha, so I don't have to tribute off Travere, because I'd rather keep Travere, just so that I could, like, loop them, but I don't think that's going to be necessary because he has one card And I'm just going to put him under Dweller again on this turn, so I don't see anything that he could actually do. Yeah, surrender. Alright. Okay, so that one was, I guess what you would call a slobber knocker, I guess? Like, he never stood a chance. That's unfortunate, but I mean, that's the way that these, like, Demise decks work and function, and honestly, like I said, Satellar's is honestly probably my favorite Demise deck, simply because, like I've said, it's got one of the strongest engines in the form of Trevere is one of the best Xyz monsters in the game, and if you're constantly able to spit it out, as well as protect like your cards with traps and stuff that this like Satell deck already has done in the past, like it's very good. It's probably the deck that changes the least with the implementation of dualities and card demises into it versus every other deck that's implemented card demise into it in the past. So honestly, like, the deck literally can just function by itself with or without card of demise, but it doesn't necessarily need you to resolve multiple card of demises, or even one. If you open a decent enough hand, you don't even have to resolve card of demise to win the game, but if you do resolve card of demise, you usually only have to resolve it the one time, and then from there on, you're usually pretty damn good in your situation, because you're usually able to have enough cards to stop their plays and keep Trevering them over and over again, or even just once at a very critical point, and it's usually just enough for game. But that being said, it also just resets your Call of the Haunteds and all your resources as well, so like it advances your own engine. So it's just really cool. Like your engine is virtually like infinite in terms of what you're able to out and stuff like that because of Trevere and calls, interactions, and stuff like that. But anyway, that's all for this video. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Links are in the description of my Facebook pages. If you want to check those out, it's what they're there for. Feel free to do so. Other than that, if you want to support me, clicking ads on my videos and disabling ad block when you view my videos is the best way to do so. Helps me out a ton. I can't express how much it helps or how much it would be appreciated. If you have an ad block enabled, if you could just do me a favor, take a few seconds out of your day, disable your ad block, refresh the video, click an ad or two, then put the ad block back on when you're done. It takes, like I said, seconds out of your day. It takes no money out of your pocket, and it helps me out more than I could ever express to you guys, and you'd have my eternal gratitude. But other than that, that is it for this video, as I've already said, and as always, guys, take care.